Today our class went to Park Forest Elementary School, where I did a read aloud with the 3rd and 4th grade class. I took 7 students outside, and we read the book The Lorax by Dr. Seuss, discussed it, talked about questions and problems we had with the book, and then did an extension activity with it. I was really excited to go into this school and do this activity with the kids because I haven't done a read aloud in a long time. The only time I've ever done it was when I was in high school, and I went into a 5th grade classroom and read them a book, but I had never read aloud to a group of students. So this was really exciting for me and something new. Our class has been learning theories that go along with read aloud. We've practiced to each other, we've heard our teacher read to us, and we've even heard librarians read aloud to us, which was a great learning experience, and I got to take techniques that I liked from others and try and implement them into this lesson. I wasn't really very nervous to go into the read aloud, but I was excited. I had practiced a lot. I practiced to my friends, I practiced to my family, and I practiced different voices. So I was really excited to read the book. I pretty much knew it by heart by the time I got there. I've also come to learn how important reading is and how I really want to become a good reader so that my students can be engaged and that they find interest in what I'm reading and want to read just like the teacher just did. I had a lot of fun creating my lesson plan at first and was excited to implement it, but I was a little nervous about how it would go because I know that teaching really depends on your students, and I wanted to make sure that they would be receptive to the topics I talked about and would enjoy listening and learning. So I wasn't sure if the discussion questions I had chosen would be appropriate, and I shortly realized that I did need to be very flexible, and I changed them as I saw what the students in the class wanted and were interested in. The students that were placed in my read aloud were really involved and they really wanted to participate. There was some off-topic conversation that went about, but from the reading that we did, Newkirk's reading called Telling Stories, I knew that some of this was good. So I let some of it happen, which was a really something new. I've never done that. I usually pull students back on topic if they go off topic. But because of this reading and this theory, I decided to give it a chance, and I did like it. But there were a few students who went way off topic all the time, and at every page they wanted to interrupt with some anecdote or to change the topic away from the book. So this was something I wasn't really expecting for some reason during this read aloud. I know that it happens all the time. So what I did was either I'd put a finger up to my mouth just to indicate to be quiet that we weren't going off topic yet and we're going to continue to read, or I would say, does that have to do with the story? Maybe we can talk about it after. I think that the read aloud went well. They were really engaged. I think that the tone of voice I used was appropriate and got them really interested. There's also a page in the book that repeats the word biggering a few times, and I had them say it with me, getting louder as the text got bigger, and they really liked that, and after that they were totally engaged in the book. By the time I got to the extension activity, they were excited for it. They really were interested in it. Even at the end, they said, "Can we do that again?" because it was really fun. So that was something that was really nice to get back, some positive feedback. Some things that I would change, though, they were familiar with this book already, The Lorax. Some of them had seen the movie, some had read the book, so they already knew what it was about, which is okay at some points, but I might go back and do a book that was maybe off the beaten track so that they could totally be open to something new instead of feeling like they had already read this. Another change that I probably would have made was to come up with even more discussion questions. I thought of them on my feet, but maybe it would have been helpful to have some written down as well. Something to be more mindful of as the teacher, I would have been more prepared for misbehavior if I could have again. Maybe discussed it with a peer or a teacher, what to do in this case if there is constantly an interruption and how to deal with that. I think that I went about it okay, but I would love to learn some more techniques. I also ran out of time and didn't have a chance to do the think, pair, share activity, which I would have loved, and I think the students could have really gotten a lot out of it. In addition, I had to modify the lesson plans a bit. I was going to plant a class plant together with everyone, but because I only had 7 students, I didn't want the plant to not be a whole class plant, so I got rid of that activity as well. Now I understand even more that you need to be mindful of your students and really need to know them. It's hard going into a classroom where you don't know who you'll be teaching, so I'm really excited for the future to be with a class for a long period of time, to learn about their interests and their prior knowledge so that I can draw upon those. In connecting my activities to theory, I like to think that my ideas were somewhat Dewey-like because the discussion was completely revolved around the students and was student-centered. So I wanted them to dictate how the conversations went, which went really well because they had a lot of prior knowledge on the environment and this subject. So they had a lot to discuss, which was really interesting for me. I also drew upon some of the readings we did, especially the Newkirk reading and going off topic and telling stories. That was something that I really learned, and I got to see the etiquette of reach firsthand, which was really nice. I also learned to be more patient, to always read in a nice tone, which really helps. It's enticing for the students. And to be flexible, that's the key thing. You have to be ready for anything, be ready for any student to do something that you might not expect. And to also have fun, because then the students will be having fun also. In addition, not to be nervous, because it's okay to mess up, and I'm really learning through mistakes, which is the best way to learn. So in conclusion, I really enjoyed my time at Park Forest and really got to revise a lesson plan. I first had my draft, and I thought that it would go really smoothly, and of course I learned that it would need revision. This is something that I'll definitely take throughout my teaching career, and this is just the beginning, so I'm excited for the future and to do more read-alouds. The end. Lastly, I just want to say that making a video and doing a voice recording is very difficult for me. This is something new. The safe way to play it would have been to write a paper, but I've been spending a lot of time trying to figure this out. So I think that this was an additional learning experience from the Read Aloud. Thanks for